Time for another trade recap. This is the second day in a row that price has been moving squeaky clean. So let's dive in and talk about the trade that we took. So again, we start off usually on the 1 hour time frame here. And what I noticed going into the day, we were trading Thursday, was that we were trending very close to these relative equal highs. Relative equal highs, very good liquidity pool to target, and we had relative equal highs on the higher time frame. So I marked that up, and as well, we were holding a 4 hour fair value gap. So that was enough for me to be bullish on the day. We had equal highs in the higher time frame. We were holding a higher time frame PD array being that 4 hour gap. And I wanted to see how price would react once it hit the 4 hour, and it held bullish. So let's talk about our entry here. Let's get into the juicy stuff. All right, so going into the day, this was my thought process. First of all, we had a data high at 8:30. Data highs, again, great liquidity pool. So we put in this data high, and a lot of people were saying, well, this is a data low. Isn't this a data low? Technically, this is the data high because this is the Newswick. This 832 low is technically not a data low. Some people would argue differently, but in my opinion, this is not a data low. So we had this untapped data high up here. We were holding this, I believe this is the 4 hour gap. Oops. Yep, so we were holding that 4 hour. We had the data highs above. Let me just clean this up a little bit. And at market open, as you can see, we boost and we take those data highs. So the first trade idea was off the table because that was going to be the first target. Very easy target, data highs. The higher time frame is bullish as well. And then we put in a 15-minute fair value gap. So I have this 15-minute fair value gap marked up. So I mark it up like so. And I am waiting to see how price is going to react once we tap back into this 15. So we have a 15-minute here. We have the 4 hour below. And then again, we have those relative equal highs on the higher time frame. So everything for me is pointing bullish. Everything for me is pointing bullish. And I start looking for longs. But I don't want to take longs until this gets swept. So we have a lot of low resistance liquidity. And this is very, very clean. This is a great liquidity pool, and shorts to the low resistance liquidity wouldn't have been a bad idea. The only thing is it went against my higher time frame bias, but I know some people did take shorts to that lower time frame there. So what did we do? What did we take here? We waited for the low resistance liquidity to get swept, and the start of the low resistance liquidity would be the target, which is this wick right here. You can see price moves up and then comes back down, takes out this low resistance liquidity. We tap back into that bullish 15-minute. We want to see the 15-minute hold, and then we tap back into this 4 hour here. So the 4 hour is still holding. And then we start looking for longs once we enter our higher time frame zone, being that 4 hour fair value gap with the 15-minute fair value gap. So 4 hour here, 15-minute right here. We tap back in after sweeping the low resistance liquidity. And then we simply look for our entry model, which is the inverse fair value gap. We get the entry right here. As you can see, we put in a fair value gap. It holds, and then we close above on this candle. Let me just delete this. We close above with this candle right here, and as soon as we close above, that is my indication to go long because we disrespected that fair value gap. That means that price will probably be looking to reverse back up to the upside. So that's what we do. We wait. As you can see, price holds this order block down here, which is good to see. We hold this fair value gap. and then we inverse this fair value gap right here back to the upside. We enter right here, a stop below, and we took all profits at this swing high right here. So this was the trade that we took yesterday, Spen and I. We both entered this trade, and I believe we entered with about 6 micros. I always get micros and minis confused. Anyway, about half a full contract, and we captured about 25 points on this trade. So I believe I made about $350 trading half a contract, which is pretty nice. And dude, today was just very clean. Today was very clean. Again, our higher time frame draw was all the way up here. We had those relative equal highs as well. We had relative equal highs on the 1 hour, I believe. Did we? Let's see. I think there was 1 hour. Yeah. And we had relative equal highs right here. So we had two great liquidity pools. Higher time frame relative equal highs on the 4 hour, and then relative equal highs right here as well. So another great liquidity pool. This would have been a beautiful target as well. And as you can see, this is the 1 hour relative equal highs right here. As you can see, price gets very close to taking these 1 hour highs and pulls back. I believe we pulled back into a 5-minute fair value gap. Let me see. Yes, we did. So again, another beautiful trade opportunity. I did not take this trade. I took one trade and I was done for the day, but I got to get better at taking more than one trade a day. That is my weakness because I get nervous that I'm going to lose profits. Anyway, it is what it is. But this trade was also super, super clean. We have a 5-minute gap right here. As you can see, we wick up and get very, very close to taking these 1 hour equal highs, but we don't sweep them whatsoever. So we have 3 equal highs at this point, which is a very, very strong draw on liquidity. We pull back down into the 5-minute gap, which is right here, and we start to hold it. So we're holding this 5-minute, indicating that price is not ready to reverse to the downside and that we are still bullish. And then we put in a fair value gap. As you can see, price inverses this fair value gap, and then you could have entered on the candle close, stop goes below, and bang, you have your 3 equal highs up here. You could have even entered another position right here. 1-minute fair value gap gets inversed, although this did not inverse by like a tick, so you would have had to enter up here, and the risk to reward isn't great, but this entry down here was very clean, and you could have caught that for 37 points, man. Clean day. This was a very clean day, and it's nice to see, knock on wood, it's nice to see price moving smoothly again, man. It was a very nice day. Spen and I managed to capitalize on it, and hopefully tonight we get some more decent price action. We shall see.